Hello and welcome. I am Mortuus Medicus, and this is my first impression and sort of a playthrough through the Yawhg. The music is beautiful. Press a direction on a controller or a keyboard to select a character. One device may control multiple characters. I will select all of the characters, for I want the game to be interesting. On our left we have a magician. On our behind we have a bartender. On the right we have a princess. And on the top we have a fighter, a knight who wants to be the strongest of them all. The Yawhg will be here in 6 weeks, and no one expects it. Not a one of you, not a one of us. We just keep on living our lives, week by week, unaware. First is the magician. She will attend the alchemy tower and brew a potion. You spend a week experimenting with different potion brews. You gain 2 magic and 1 mind. One day, while in the tower, one of the alchemists asks you to watch his potion while he's out. Soon after he leaves, the potion begins bubbling out of control. If you don't do something, it'll explode. If it's bubbling, it means that it's over 100 degrees, meaning it will scorch me and damage me. I have no other choice but to throw it out of the window. You toss the potion out of the window and watch its contents empty into the town's water supply. Quick thinking, you gain 1 mind. You take off early from the for the day, hoping no one finds out that I have polluted the entire water supply in the town. We have the bartender, who will tend the bar. You spend a week serving drinks at the tavern. You earn 1 wealth in tips and gain 2 charm. One day a fortune teller sets up one of the tavern's tables. She offers to read anybody's fortune for a small sum. I see no harm in it, and knowing the future might be good. You spend 1 wealth. The fortune teller takes your hand and begins showering you with promises of love and wealth. She doesn't really go into any detail, and the whole time you cannot help but feel that this is all an act. Underwhelmed and slightly bored, you can't help but feel like you wasted your money. That night, while walking home, the fortune teller runs up to you and gives you a kiss on the cheek. "There's the love part," she says with a toothless smile. Then she hands you a giant sack of gold. "And there's the wealth," she says. You gain 2 wealth. Profitable in more ways than one. Still think that I'm a hack. ... the princess. The princess belongs into the tower. The palace. She will attend the ball. You spend a week attending fancy gatherings. You gain 2 charm and 1 finesse. One day, the king approaches you. "Excuse me, but you look like someone who I can confide in," he says. "I really want a prince to take over the throne, but the queen and I aren't exactly active in the bed." He blushes a little. Do you have any advice on how I could romance the queen, so to speak? Teach King your ways, or admit that you don't know how to help. Well, I believe that a woman knows what woman wants, so I will teach the king my ways. You spend hours drawing a bunch of diagrams and going through scenarios with King. By the end of it, he's just as charming as you are. He thanks you and hands you a large sack of coins as a reward. You gain 3 wealth. And later that night, you get a stinking feeling that you might have actually made things worse. Well, who knows? Fighter will go to the arena and compete in fight. You spend a week fighting brutes in the arena. You gain 2 physique and 1 finesse. One night on your way home, you spot a rusty dagger on the ground. What good is the rusty dagger to me? The rest of your week is uneventful. The fact that the highlight of your week was spotting a piece of rusty metal makes you a little sad. You lose one mind. They say the last time it came, the Yawhg devoured houses of all, stole lives, tore families and family members apart. But that was so very long ago. Week 2. The magician will attend and brew a potion. You spend a week experimenting. You gain magic. One day you hear one of the alchemists shout, "Eureka!" When you look over to see what he's done, you spot a small, previously dead ferret come to life. "I figured out the antidote to death!" the alchemist exclaims. The undead ferret lets out a horrific noise and lumbers about slowly. Destroy the abomination or praise the alchemist's accomplishment. I will praise him, for he has done what no one except Jesus has done before. "That's amazing," you say, slightly discomforted by the ferret's presence. You didn't hurt the alchemist's feeling. You gain 1 charm. Bartender will tend the bar. You spend a week serving. You earn wealth and charm. One day a bard pulls out his lute in the bar and starts playing a tune. Unfortunately, his singing is horrible and is ruining the tavern's atmosphere. You decide to do something about it. Challenge him to a lute duel. That might be interesting. You borrow bar owner's lute and challenge the bar to the musical duel. You only just start playing the lute when you realize that you're even worse than the bard. The bard easily outplays you and motions for you to lay down your lute. You can tell that there are a couple of people snickering at you right now. Embarrassing. You lose 1 charm. Princess will attend the ball. You spend a week attending. You earn charm. One day a court jester approaches you. "Would you like to learn to juggle?" he asks excitedly. "I'll teach you everything I know for a small sum." "Sure, I see no harm in it." You spend a day with the jester practicing your juggling techniques. You improve dramatically. You gain 2 finesse. You gain another 2 finesse. You happily pay the jester for his service. The knight will compete and fight. You spend a week fighting brutes in the arena. You gain 2 physique. During a match, another warrior's weapon is knocked from their grasp. You barely manage to avoid it. With a sickening crunch, it destroys a knee of a nearby bystander. He accuses you of causing him harm by not stopping the flying weapon. He takes you to the court. Well, he is right that I didn't catch the weapon or do something about it, so I will offer to settle. No amount of coin convinced the unreasonable man to settle. The trial does not go well for you, and you are sentenced to perform community service. Performing hard labor, you gain 1 physique and 1 finesse. Unfortunately, the boring task takes a toll on your mentality. It was on us in a heartbeat, or so the stories goes. The earth shook, the air went still. I spent a week experimenting and gained magic. One day you hear cries for help coming from the next room. Running over to investigate, you see that the alchemist that had accidentally created an Oze monster. How do you dispatch the Oze? Punch the Oze into submission. Blast the Oze with magic. Well, I do have quite a lot of magic, so I will try and use my magic. You pulverize the Oze into a puddle with an array of magic spells. Success. The alchemists all cheer. You gain 1 charm. The bartender will bartend. You spend a week serving drinks at the tavern. You earn 1 wealth and tips and gain 2 charm. One day an improper drinking contest is held. I will enter. Sure, why not? You down pint after pint, drinking as if your life depends on it. You end up blacking out. When you come to it, you find yourself in a home you didn't recognize in only your underwear. Your clothes are nowhere to be found, and you seem to be the only one home. What happened? You blacked out, mate, and had a hell of a time. Attend the ball. One day you overhear the jester tell a joke to a group of people. Everyone laughs, but you didn't understand the joke at all. Ask for an explanation or try to figure out the joke on your own. I have a strong feeling that if I will ask for the explanation, they will make fun of me. So I will try to figure the joke on my own, which I failed. You began coming to terms with the fact that your sense of humor is lacking. Being more self-aware, you manage to exude the aura of confidence. You gain 1 charm. Compete in fight. You spend a week fighting brutes in the arena. You gain 2 physique and 1 finesse. While wandering around the hall between matches, you spot your former lover, Kelly. An awkward exchange happens, in which you want to know how they're doing without seeming to care too much. After a few minutes, Jin, one of the most popular fighters in the arena, butts in the conversation. Hey Kelly, sorry to interrupt, but we've got to leave right away if we want to make it to your mother's in time. You say an awkward goodbye as they walk off holding hands. How do you feel? You feel happy for Kelly, for she was your former lover, meaning that you have already broke up with her, or something like that. You feel it's good that both of you have moved on. This encounter, despite its awkwardness, was refreshing. You gain 1 charm. And then the world was howling fury. Chaos, screaming, the sound of all we knew being pulled in half. Week 4. Week magic. One day all of the alchemists decide to take a break from the work and instead throw a country party. One alchemist waves his hand and produces confetti in front of him. Another spawns seemingly endless numbers of doors from his sleeves. Then all the alchemists turn to you to see what you can come up with. And it's a party, and I have a lot of magic, so I will do a complex trick. With a snap of your fingers, you bring a chair to life. You sit atop of it and ride it around the room. Everybody else is quite impressed. You gain 2 charm. The very first day of the week, when you walk through the tavern doors, everyone cheers. Apparently during your last drunken outtaking, you were a party animal, while you were blacked out. Legend spreads of your party hard spirit. You gain 2 charm. Palace. She will attend the ball, of course. One day you accidentally bump into a duke. Watch where you're going, filthy peasant. He shoves you out of the way with his hands and continues walking. I am no peasant. You shove him back. He stumbles slightly. That was kind of lame. You lose 1 charm. Well, that was kinda lame. One day, in between matches, you stumble upon one of the higher-ranked fighters ingesting an illegal strength potion. Please, sir, do not report me, she cries. It's a woman. I'll even share some of my potion with you if you keep quiet, she adds. I will take her offer. Thank you so much for not reporting me, she says while handing you her flask. You take a small swig of her potion and can feel your muscles expanding significantly. You gain 2 physique. When it arrives this time, how will we fare? Will we once more rebuild, move on, be strong? Or have we forgotten? One day, an artificer stops by for a visit. She's adorned with magical gadgets and gizmos, and is followed everywhere by her clockwork spider. The alchemists of the tower all go out of their way to impress the artificer, offering her an array of potions and elixirs. However, as she leaves, she turns to you and says, "You, I like you." She offers you a choice of one of her trinkets. Ring of clever thoughts or ring of swift movement. As I don't have a lot of physique, but I do have a lot of mind, so clever thoughts it is. The ring grants you 3 mind. The alchemists are jealous. One day, while in the tavern, a hated argument erupts between 2 patrons. Soon enough, fists are flying, and everybody seems to join in on the violence. Well, if everybody is joining, I will join as well. You jump in the thick of the fight and let loose some pent-up rage on some unsuspecting patrons. You gain 1 physique from all the exertion. One day you decide to lean up against the wall just to take a break. It rotates as you apply pressure, and you stumble down a set of stairs. You enter a large dusty room filled with barrels. You found the king's famous wine cellar. Host a secret party in here or keep quiet about what you saw. I will keep quiet about what I saw, for I have already screwed up the king once. I do not intend to do it twice. Just knowing you have a secret to hide is so exciting. You gain 1 charm and 1 mind. One day, while wandering the hall, one of the arena's fighters approaches you. "Excuse me, sir. I need a sparring partner," he says. "Are you down for a fight or two?" I will accept his challenge. "Let's do this!" he screams. He takes a swing at your head. You punch his fist as it's coming towards you. You can hear the bones in the fighter's hand crack. He runs away whimpering. That was pretty cool. You gain 1 charm. The Yawhg. It's almost here. Almost. Week 6. You spend the magic. Nothing out of the ordinary happens to you this week. One day the tavern throws its annual dart tournament. I will enter it. You sign up for the dart tournament, ready to prove your dart throwing prowess. You play the worst game of darts anybody has ever seen. You managed to break several glasses and nearly missed someone's head. You come dead last. Somebody there wrote a song of how poorly you did, and it's quickly become the most popular tune in the town. You lose 1 charm. One day you hear somebody shouting something in the hallway. "There's a bomb in the palace," they scream. There is a mass panic as people try desperately to escape the palace's walls. I do not have a lot of mind, so I don't think that I'll be able to disarm the bomb. I will run away. You get out just before the bomb goes off. A huge explosion occurs, knocking you off your feet and completely wrecking the castle. Nothing out of the ordinary happens to you this week. The storm arrives in the night. By the morning, it still rages. For 3 full days, the tempest puts us through a grinder, drowns us, crushes us, ruins us. But then it ends. We see the graveyard our home has become. Our home. Does anything yet leave? Are we past saving? So, we need to decide a role for our heroes, I believe. Yes, choose your role. The first to choose is the magician. And what better job than the conjurer a magician can have? You take it upon yourself to help conjure up supplies for the town. With your magic you summon supplies of the highest caliber. With a little effort you're summoning high quality lumber and food from out of nowhere. This helps the rebuilding effort significantly. The bartender has a lot of charm, but that is all. I think that he would go. What would a bartender do in an apocalyptic world? He would probably, I don't know, be a smelter or a tailor. He would be a smelter, I believe. You volunteer to smelt your now useless coins into building materials. Your former riches provided a wealth of metal for survivors to build with. This helps the survival effort immensely. You lose a lot of money in the process though. The princess. I believe that she could be the leader. She has a lot of charm and a lot of finesse. And she is a royalty after all. You take it upon yourself to be the leader of the survivors. You're so incredibly charming, everybody readily lets you guide them. You're not the brightest, however. You aren't terribly efficient with organizing everyone. Still, having a charismatic leader helps the rebuilding effort a lot. And now the fighter. He has nothing else but to be a builder, for he is immensely strong. You take it upon yourself to rebuild the houses by hand. You rebuild houses at the breakneck speed, impressing the rest of the survivors. This helps the rebuilding effort significantly. And so, we set about our tasks, once more living our lives, this time in a way we might never have expected, or even wanted, but in the end, we flourished. Towers, once wrecked and ravaged, rose towards the sky. Trees again took root, then blossomed. We all blossomed, and thought it took a long while. Oh, and though it took a long while, and though it took a lot from us, our future is bright. Should the Yawhg ever return, we will be ready. What a beautiful city that we have done. With the tower fully rebuilt, you spend more and more time in the alchemy tower. Your potion brewing abilities quickly become among the best in the world. Your health and mana potions are considered world-class delicacies. What? With delicacies or whatever. With people venturing far and wide to buy them. But you never learn how to brew a love potion. That is quite sad. With the old tavern owner dying in the Yawhg, you decide to take on the task. As it was foretold. Before long the tavern's busier than ever, filled with good music, games and friends. Your tavern's doing so great that every other tavern in the area has closed down. You start a chain of taverns throughout the city to fill the demand. Each new tavern you open makes it more difficult to manage all of them. You begin enacting policies that make it easier for you to keep track of how the taverns are being run. The taverns all start to become bland and uninteresting places to be, but since you have a monopoly, you're still making a ridiculous amount of money. With the tower rebuilt, you decide to celebrate. You organize a huge festival in honor of the bravery that helped save so many lives. The first one is so successful you decide to make it an annual tradition. Every year the festival gets bigger and more elaborate, and every year it costs more and more money to put on. You have to start changing administration and no one is happy about it. The annual festival slowly fades out of relevance, and before long is cancelled completely. You don't really know what to do with your life after all of that. Sad. With the town rebuild, you decide to become a full-time arena warrior. You slowly rise in the rank, knocking out scores of fighters, even ones as great as Jean the Beautiful. Before long, you become the arena champion. You travel across the world fighting the very best of the best. Tales are sung far and wide of your might, manifest of your mighty feasts of strength. Well, that was an interesting game. A game that maybe you should play with friends. And a game that has many endings. This game is unique in many ways. It shows a gameplay that is not very common in these days. I quite like the game, although if you play it multiple times you will notice that the game starts to repeat itself. Well, actually you need to play it twice or maybe 3 times to notice that. But anyways, it is a good party game nonetheless. Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment, like and subscribe.